Welcome to another episode of The Art of Struggle. We got a special guest here today, fresh off a book release. Ronheen, Bingham, man of God, father, author, pro athlete, editor, public speaker, youth advocate, personal trainer, content creator. You do it all, man. How you doing today?
Man, I'm good, man. Blessed, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you for the time, man.
Oh, no problem at all, man. I appreciate you speaking to the young man. We're going to get into your book that just dropped. What's the name of the book that just dropped, man?
Boys Do Cry. It's the first one.
First one, okay. How you feeling about what made you go ahead and take that step into writing a book, and how long have you been plotting on
it? What made me take that step, just growing up, I always had like a mindset to be creative and do different things. Playing football and stuff, of course, you want to try to figure out other stuff to do outside the sport. When I came up with the idea, I just wanted to create a safe space for boys, and that's what spawned the idea. And it took me about 2.5 months. Me and my friend Taylor, she helped me. We worked together. She day and night putting together the content, drawing the pictures, and just trying to get everything together.
Okay, that's what's up, man. So we're gonna take it back. We're gonna take it back because I know you talk about boys do cry. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna take it back to your childhood. Give me one of the first moments where you realized that being emotional is okay.
Mm-hmm. I say one of the first moments that I realized being emotional was okay was I would say when I got to college. When a situation had happened with one of my family members, I always took everything with a smile. When stuff was going wrong, I just smiled about it, prayed about it, and left it at that, and just bottled everything up. And in that moment, one of my friends, she just looked at me. She was like, "It's okay to cry, right?" And I was like, I guess, and eventually it just started just pouring, and at that moment I just like, and I felt relieved, you know what I mean? So.
Oh man, that's deep, because I definitely feel, growing up I was taught, we was taught you gotta be tough, you gotta be hold that in, chin up, chest out. That's what we taught. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it take that experience to be like, okay, it's okay, this gonna make me a better person at the end of the day. So you talked about your college experience, man. Do you feel like you chose college, or did you feel like, if college was chosen for you?
I felt like college was chosen for me. Growing up, I knew that, of course I wanted to play football and do all those things, but honestly, I didn't really get a grip on college, if I wanted to go to college until my 11th grade, 12th grade year, just because I was just focused on football, hanging with friends, and one of my teachers ended up asking me did you take the SAT? I'm like, what's that? You know what I mean? So that's when I started to realize I actually have to, apply myself to college to be able to just continue playing football.
Okay. So when you got to college, would you tell your 18-year-old self to take that route again, knowing what you know now?
Yes, I would, just because I ended up going to junior college straight out of high school, just because my GPA and stuff. But I'm glad that I did go, because those coaches, they gave me discipline, they gave me structure, they gave me just an idea of what it takes to be a professional athlete and how to move that way. Because coming out of high school, I wasn't professional. I was still moving off of high school time and trying to figure it out. And they gave us a lot of structure in JUCO.
Gotcha. And you went from JUCO to D1 to professional. So you took it all the way, man. Congratulations. A lot of people don't get to make it to that point, and it affects their mindset. A lot of people, this is what they've been doing all their life, and they don't get that satisfaction of saying, I went pro. So what would you say? What would you say to that person who got that mindset of wanting to go pro, wanting to go to the league, but they might wanna what would you say to that person that's trying to go to the league, that what's the next step if they don't make it? Should it be a plan B? Should you already have it your mindset just on football? How should that go? How do you think that should go?
I would say definitely anything that you're doing, whether it's sports or football or whatever, you supposed to just lock in on that. Extra hours. I always believe if you want to do something, you're gonna put in the work, you're gonna put in the hours. So if you're trying to go professional, man, I would say it's a lonely road, you know what I mean? There's a lot of times that I was at the football field by myself, no cameras, no nothing, just working, just training. So you kind of go as an unsung hero, you know what I mean? But also when it comes to having a plan B, I would say go back to what you used to love to do when you was a kid, man. You know what I mean? Like, of course, they always tell you to focus on your plan A, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I would say it's important to do other things outside of what you're doing so you can always have something to do or fall back on.
That's deep, man. That's powerful. You talked about transitioning. Well, we want to talk about transitioning from sports to being an entrepreneur. Did that mindset in sports help you in being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, man, it helped me a lot. The hard work and the hours and making the itineraries now, because in college, man, they give you what you got to do. Yeah. You go to lunch, you go to dinner, you go to practice, you go to film. You know what I mean? So when it comes to like being an entrepreneur and with my book, I took that I built my team and we put together a plan and we executed. You know what I mean? We stayed the course, no matter if like the days felt like hard or felt like, man, it might don't come out, maybe we need to push the release back. But nah, just stay the course, you know what I mean? Game day gonna be the same day regardless if we're ready or not.
Facts. I want to switch it up for you, man, because we talked a little bit off camera about where we from, and it's kind of similar. So I know, based off what you was telling me, you come from a struggle just like us, but you not letting that struggle define you. So we do a little series called Struggle Questions to see what kind of struggle you kind of came from. So it's just you pick and choose which one will work for you. So which one you like. So would you rather have Takis or Cheetos?
Cheetos. We need them flaming hot.
Okay, them flaming hot Cheetos. So you'd rather eat oodles and noodles for 6 days and cereal for 1?
Yeah. Or
cereal for 6 days and oodles and noodles for 1?
That's good. I mean, I love me some cereal, bro. I bust that down late night. You know what I'm saying? Back then, the oodles and noodles, baby. We came up on that, but they starting to return a lot of them back, so I go to cereal for the couple of days.
Okay. All right, this is a little bit more of a question to help like the youth, because I always try to get the kids to see, it's better to go ahead and get started early. If you go do this thing, it's better to go ahead and get your mindset early and go ahead and get it out of the way so you can be straight in life later. So do you think it's harder to raise your GPA in high school in a 4-year span from, let's say, a 1.0 to a 4.0? Or do you think it's harder to raise your credit score from let's say a 300 to a 750 in that same 4-month span?
In that same 4-month span.
In the same 4-year span.
I would say the credit score, just because I was in that predicament where like my GPA coming out of high school, before I graduated, it was like a 1.3. I watched this movie. I know everybody's seen The Blind Side.
Yeah.
And it tricked me because he had like a 1.5. It was like, we can get it up. Nah, bro. If you're gonna have a good GPA, you gotta start early. Like, you know what I'm saying? At least with the credit score, you can get a credit card, get a $300 credit card, pay monthly, just use it for gas only, and it will increase your credit score within those months. Just something small like that. And I think that within those months you can get your credit score up as long as you got like active payments.
Talk about the importance of credit or understanding your credit as a young black man. You feel, well, I got to college, I got a credit card, I was
swiping, running it up. Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
But what's the importance of understanding your credit earlier in life?
Yeah. It's important, man, because growing up, especially people like us, like black people or whatever, we don't know about credit. You know what I mean? They don't teach us, literacy, financial literacy. They don't teach us those things. And I feel like it's important that we teach the youngins early, you know what I mean? Get them smart books to read, or just make fun exercises, teaching them about credit in a fun way so they can be on point. My nephew, he was just talking to me. He called me last night. He was like, what company do you think I'm gonna be a CEO of? I'm like, what? He's like, I think I'm gonna do Apple. His mom was like, she's like, oh, we get a discount. He was like, no. He was like, you got to buy the phone like everybody else. That's what he told his mom.
Great business,
so
man.
I was like, you know what I mean? And you got to teach me young, bro.
Right. Man, and just talk a little bit more about your book, man. If they hadn't bought it, where can they get it? What I know you said this is just your first one, so you plan on keeping this thing going?
For sure. You can get it off Amazon. Type my name, Ronheen Bingham. You can just type Ronheen Bingham Boys Do Cry, and it'll pop right up in the children's book section. Of course, this is going to be the first of the series that I'm coming out with. This is gonna be it's gonna be other characters introduced, and I just want to start off with Elijah, and I feel like Elijah's story is similar to all of us. We share the same story with him, you know what I mean? So I want to just keep that going.
Wow. Hey man, I think you're doing some big things, man. Keep doing your thing. Make sure you know if there's anything I can do to help you. You feel me? Make sure you let me know. But let's get a little bit. You know, that was a little serious, you feel me? Let's get on some other topics, man. We got my boy Teddy right here, man. He gonna ask you some questions.
We got big role, big art, and the place to be. Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so Rowan, one of my biggest questions is, what was the biggest challenge writing the book?
Okay. I would say the biggest challenge writing the book is like writer's block. Like when you get to that stage where you're writing everything and you get stuck on a point where you just like, man, I don't know if I need to add, I don't know if I need to take out. And I think the hardest part is just putting it out. You know what I mean? Like we be the biggest critic of our work. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like at the end of the day, if it's gonna go, it's gonna go. Like, you know what I mean? It's your story. Our story is our market. Like that's what we sell. So the hardest part is just putting it out and not second guessing yourself about putting the product out. You know what I mean?
Alright, so you said writer's block.
Writer's block,
now,
yeah.
The biggest question that I have for you is like, as far as like football in the book, what are the similarities and what are the differences between football and writing the book? Like if you had to just like break it down to somebody that's actually an athlete like you and wanted to go in that direction but didn't know how to go in that direction. Like, how would you explain it?
I would say that it's just like football because you have to do your research. You need to be looking at, if you want to do a children's book or autobiography, you need to be looking at authors who do that. You know what I'm saying? You need to be studying the game. Who got the best? What I did, I studied. I'm like, who got the best children's book out? Looked it up. Okay, this what they doing. This who got the #1 seller. I bet. Now I go back to the drawing board. It's just like football. Who the best defensive end? What he doing? Oh, he working on pass rush moves? Like, all right, bet. Go back to the boards. I'm about to add it to my game. So once you find out who is winning in your field, you just kind of just mimic and add your own flair, and that's when you just create your own lane. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Like me personally, like we said, we do appreciate you for like doing this because like as a young black man, like just looking from the outside looking in, like where we come from is like, coming up, we wasn't taught like financial literacy, or we weren't taught like different things like writing books or writing poetry. Like our teacher said earlier, like we just taught to like hold a lot of stuff in, and like boys don't try like come from where we come from, like the black community, just hold it in, suck it in. So like you giving us an outlet to let people know that like it's okay to let your emotions, you can wear your emotions on your sleeve. Everybody's not out here to attack you. So like I do salute you for that. So like, I guess this leads to the next question. Like, okay, mental health. Like, is mental health big in your city, or is it just like swept under the rug? Like, or is it like just talked about? Like, what would you say for your city?
I say just growing up, I felt like I didn't really know what mental health was until I left the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because, like, you know, when you in it, you just having fun, you just immune, people passing away, you losing people. It's normal. So you're not really thinking too much about it until I didn't really know how bad it was until I left and then brought somebody who wasn't from there, and they can feel the energy, you know what I'm saying? But I love my hometown and city and stuff, and there's a lot of great people there, you know, it's a great spirit, great people there, great souls, people, but it's just like we didn't know about mental health though.
We all didn't know.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the football thing, man. I know you played football. You know, you told me you was in the North-South game. How do you feel like football has changed since the name, image, and likeness, the NIL deals have came around? How do you think the game has changed?
I feel like it changed for the better, man, because if you think about it, the money that the universities, and they made billions and billions and billions of dollars off of the back of college athletes. I believe that college athletes should be paid because you putting your body on the line. You know what I mean? Like anything can happen. Just for myself personally, you know, my last game of the season of my senior year in college, I tore my ACL. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, the chancellor, the team, the school they had love enough to where they were like, okay, we're gonna keep you here. You can still go to school. Don't worry about football. Get healthy. You know, those things in place. But it's many athletes that if they get hurt, they don't have that, you know, that way. So I feel like they should be paid, man. You should be compensated, especially if, you know, you bringing those tickets. You know how it is when they have your jersey with your number, but they don't have your name on it. You know what I mean? They flip the script. They still making money. But the good thing about it now is I believe all athletes should be paid, whether basketball, football, soccer, wrestling. Pay the kids, man.
Facts.
Pay the kids.
You're already making the money. I remember at one time it was like during the NCAA tournament with Butler.
Yeah.
They wasn't feeding kids past a certain time at night. It was like the cafeterias had shut down, so the they was like in the championship game, but they wasn't able to eat past like 9 o'clock or something like that.
That's bad business, man.
Yeah, but yeah, man, pay the kids, man. Pay the kids. Hey, this is what I love to see, like, because it's not a lot of opportunities to make money. You know, it's only like how many football players that play high school that's gonna make it to the league. So how might not have some money in there for the kids who put in the work just like them?
And you also like take pressure off the kid. Think about how much pressure we had on us trying to change our family situation, going to play football. If I can go to college and make $1 million before, I don't think a lot of kids gonna even want to go to the league. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm all for college athletes being paid for sure.
Okay. How do you think that affects the high school athlete though? You know, as you see, you know, they're not recruiting as many high school students. They looking through the transfer portals. They looking through. How do you think that affects the high school athlete going forward?
I definitely understand. It definitely affects the high school player because they're going for players that are already in the system, or you know, guys that are trying to, you know, get in there. But it's worth it if you can get in there into those D1 programs or D2 programs that you can get an NIL. It'll be worth it. But like I said, like if you're trying to get those offers, even let's just say they go to the transfer portal, it's still junior college. You know what I'm saying? And they have it to where now, if you go to junior college, you still have 4 years left. If you do 2 years, you still have 4 years left eligibility at D1. So you can really run it up.
Okay. Yeah. Hey man, that's good to explain to the kids. I feel like in our community, whether I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we are banking on sports for a lot of our kids. And the reality is everybody is not gonna make it to that level. So how do we I would say change that dynamic, but channel that energy into some. You see other communities that are focused on, you know, getting their kids trades, getting their kids skill sets to move forward. Our banking systems are on sports. So how do you feel like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? How should we feel about that as a community that a lot of these jobs are not available, but everybody is banking on it?
I honestly think that you should have your kids do other things outside of the sport, just because of the pressure that it puts on the kid to try to change this family situation. I think that it'll be best if you show them different. We need to, as a community, we have to take pride in showing our kids different stuff besides the game of football. Like, I get it, like we grew up, all us wanted to go to the NFL. That was all we really had, you know what I mean? Like, that's all, if you think about it, a lot of black men, black boys went to college if it was no football or no basketball or no sports. You know what I mean? So I believe like we have to show them different stuff so they can go to college besides them being an athlete. You know what I mean? You're more than an athlete. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, man, it's great that you said that. It's great that you put it that way, because you can still, you feel me, pursue your dream as an athlete. You can still stay in shape. What comes with being an athlete is a mindset. And it is a good thing, because a lot of people in our community don't have the mindset. So that's the good thing about it. It gives you a mindset to move forward. But a lot of people, after they don't make it, quote unquote, in football, they go through these mental anxiety, don't know what to do for the next step. So what type of transition do you think needs to be made to help athletes who don't go professionally, who don't take that next step? What kind of things do you think we could do as the athletic community, as the black community? Because we put ourselves in these situations. Our community told us to go do this. So how are we going to help them when they don't, quote unquote, make it?
I would say give them grace. I feel like a lot of times, like when you are a hometown hero, or you know, say if you got like scholarships, or if you like that guy in your county or your city, once you leave that leave and go off and then come back and the sport don't work, people look at you different. People treat you different. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not that same superhero you was before you left just because you're not doing what you used to do. But at the end of the day, like, people get older, people change, people, like, you know what I mean? I would say we have to give them more grace of the people that's coming home and be more receptive and receive them in a better way with love, because that is a hard thing, bro. You've been working your whole life since a kid, and you go to college, you ball, and then you don't get picked up still. The mental that you go through, bro, is detrimental in itself. So I just believe that you gotta just give them love, bro. Love, bro.
So I don't know if I know a few people around me who have went through like mental where they was like, dang, I ain't get to that point. But how has fitness helped you in that journey of, or how do you think fitness would help people in that journey of transition? Because you still, you know, working out, doing what you love, still have to have a mindset to do. So how do you think that would help our community being more fit? Yeah,
I think being fit is important, man. Just in the sense of like besides sports, we don't work out. Let's just be honest. If it's so, I think it's a great stress reliever because you go in there, you set a certain time, you dedicate it to that time, you pushing weight, you can scream, like it's a safe space. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can go outside, get and run and get nature conditioning. There's so much stuff that you can do. People think about fitness, they think, oh, you got to be the strongest, or oh, you got to be the biggest. You know what I mean? And the main thing is, like, at the end of the day, fitness is important.
All right, bro, I have one good question for you. Like, all the questions good, but like, I really wanted to touch bases on this. Like, do you feel like fitness could potentially cure the black community depression? Like, some people that's depressed in the black community?
Yeah.
Because me, just speaking, like, this first time I said this up on, like, recorded, but like I went through a stage of depression for like 3 years, and then like when I started working out and stuff like that, it actually opened my mind and made me realize that like I'm more disciplined, and I am somebody, and I am worth something to this world. So like, would you say fitness could be a potential like cure too, like mental illness or depression or anything like that, or like in that such nature?
Yeah, I definitely think it could be a cure for depression, just because, like, I commend you for just sharing that story. You know, if you going through it, you know what I mean, especially as a black man. I went through the same thing, bro, with depression, like just being down and not knowing where I want to go, But once I started like just taking initiative, bro, taking control of my life and saying, you know what, because you think about it, if you working out, what you do, you look good. You start looking in the mirror, you like, man, I feel good. You start smiling. Don't work out and then get a haircut. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like, you know what I mean? So it's important, man. I think it's very therapeutic, and you don't have to be the Incredible Hulk to work out. Let's change that narrative, man. Because every time somebody hit me up, they always talk, man, you gonna have me live here? No. We gotta start slow. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
What got you on your fitness journey? Like, what made you want to just lock in with fitness besides football? What made you actually want to start taking care of your body, taking care of your mind? Like, what made you just be like, all right, I gotta just stick like this for the rest of my life? Is this a life journey thing?
So, like, the crazy thing about it, like in high school and everything, like, I did not lift weights. Like, I was small. I was probably like 165, 175. But I was, you know what I mean, still a football player, but I wasn't lifting no weights. We used to have the weight room class. I used to skip, do all that. Then I ended up going to college and seeing how big those guys was. I mean, I had to get it together, you know what I mean? So, but then after I went through my injury, when I had got hurt, you know, going through that stage and realizing like the game may be taken away, I started just doing my own working out on my own, working out with trainers. And I just realized, like, once I trained somebody for the first time or worked somebody out, and seeing the smile that it brought them when they saw the results, it just made me want to do that outside of the game of football. You know what I mean?
That's real. Do you feel like what would you say is the difference between being a D1 player, a D2 player, NAIA, and the rest of those type of leagues? What would you say? What is the most challenging part? And what is the least challenging part about being up in one of those type of divisions? If you're trying to get to that level, when you get to that level, to all the young people out there.
I would just say the difference between all those leagues is just funding. They have the funds, like D1, of course, they have the funds to recruit. Of course, with the NIL now, they can get any player they want if they got the budget. With those other schools, I mean, with the good thing about now being in, like, say if you go D2, NAIA, or D3, is a transfer portal. You know what I'm saying? So you can ball out 1 year and your life can change. Dog, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like all you got to do is just put it on tape, put that film out there. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be fine. So.
Hey man, we definitely want to say we appreciate you. Look forward to working with you in the future. Again, congratulations on the book out now, Boys Don't Cry. Shout out to you, man. Hey man, like I said, you inspired me to keep going. I've been talking about this for two, so just knowing somebody who's doing it for real that look like me, that's from my community, is big. So keep going with that, man. Keep going for real. And we definitely got to do this again. We're gonna work again, but thank you for being a part of this. Look forward to working with you. The Art of Struggle, we out.